Hello everyone, welcome to Telangana Exam Center. As you all know that there was a buzzing around with regard to a new particular topic, that is labor codes. And this is more or so very much popular. Why? Because it deals with IT sector, it deals with factories, it deals with industries, it deals with permanent employees, it deals with fixed term employees, plus it also give lot of benefits to the women employment. Okay, so that is the reason these particular codes will become very important for our examination point of view, and you should also be knowing as a part of skill developed skill individual, as a part of, like, you're also going to work in future. So as a normal individual also you should be knowing about it, because it's also talk about wage fixation. Okay, so all of these topics we are going to see one by one. We'll talk about the why were new labor codes introduced, what are the key highlights of the 4 labor codes. This is what we are going to discuss. And how do the new labor codes impact different worker groups? How will the new labor codes affect formalization and job creation? Why we are saying formalization? Formalization is nothing but, remember this point here, every individual, you and me, if we are getting employed, nothing but if we are being hired by a employer. Okay, if the employer is if the employer had registered his company under any of the state or central government act, then it is called as a formal employment. If the employer is not registered under any of the government of state or central government act, then it is called as informal employment or informal organization. Remember this point. So whenever you are registered under an act, whether your company is registered under an act, it means that you have to follow various principles of that particular act or not. Yes, right. Whereas if you are not registered under any state or central government act, you will be carrying out your activities according to your will and fancies, according to your independent decisions or not. You will not even be looking at what this is. If you take a particular decision, how is going to impact your employees, you hardly will able to do this particular reasoning, because you are an informal organization and the people who are working with you are informally employed. That's the reason they don't enjoy any of the statutory safeguards. Clear my point? Let us see all of these one by one. Make sure that you, as I always say you, that my classes should not be considered as a YouTube videos. I am not dealing here with YouTube videos. These are all classes. You have to take your pen, you have to take your book. This is the most important thing you have to do, and you have to write down whatever we are discussing and whatever I am underscoring or underlining. Okay, let us go one by one. Right, now let us talk about, this is a very important table that has been given in the Government of India website only. Many labors. So we are talking about why do we need the labor. Okay, we are talking about why do we need the new labor codes. What is the use of new labor codes? Many labor laws enacted before and just after independence were designed for economy very different from today. So whatever the labor codes, labor laws that we are having, that has been designed at the time of independence according to the situation of our country. But now you just imagine that how we have developed over a period of time. So that labor codes would not be relevant. Even our constitution itself is going for n number of amendments every other day, right or wrong, every other parliamentary session. So it means the old age labor codes, labor rules will not be workable in today's environment. That is one. And some of them, some of the sections of that particular labor codes has become obsolete, means does not have any effect, and it is not being in practice. Not being in what? Practice. Remember this point. Okay, right. Now, since this is a subject on the concurrent list with regard to labor, only the state government and central government can make laws. States have come out with their own laws. An absence of a central code results in fragmented approach that restricts uniform social security benefits to the worker across the nation. So if I am in Telangana, my Telangana government brings some important labor laws and labor codes, but these are very good, and these are being implemented in Telangana, and Telangana workers and the what I say is that employees are enjoying this particular new reformed labor laws and labor codes. But whereas in Maharashtra, in Chhattisgarh, the state governments did not show that much of political will. That's why they are still following the old age labor codes and rules. That's why the people who are working there are actually not enjoying what were the new reforms being enjoyed by the Telangana workers and employees. That's why there is no uniformity across the nation with regard to governance of what? Laborers and workers. That is another important point. That's why we need new labor codes, right? Since this is a subject in the concurrent list, many of the states have come out with their own labor laws. And because of there is no centralized list, like GST like system is not there across the country, because there is no central law at this point of time. So that is why there is no uniformity with regard to social security benefits to the workers across the nation. And increased compliance is also the confusion for the employers. Okay, suppose you are having a Tata company, if the state government of Telangana has got new labor laws, rules. The Tata company in Madhya Pradesh, Tata company Chhattisgarh, Tata company in Kerala, here they do not have same laws, here they do not have same laws, here they do not have same rules. Okay, here they are having different rules. That's the reason what is happening. The Tata company as the employer is in a very big confusion. Basically, it means it has to go and do the scrutiny of each and every state laws in order to get the documentation done. That is the reason what is happening. The compliance is becoming very complex and very lethargic, and becoming tiresome for the employers. So these are the three important reasons why we needed a labor laws. Now, why workers need them? Why workers like us? Why we need this new labor laws? Why? Because limited social protection was given in the previous laws, especially for the workers who are working in saloons, who are working in supermarkets, working in the mechanic shop, working in the service centers. So they have been given very little social protection, nothing but with regard to insurance, with regard to pension, with regard to contract employment, or with regard to gratuity. All these are not there in the before laws. So we are actually having very limited social protection offered by various companies who are working under what? Unorganized sector or informal sectors. Lack of formal recognition for the workers across segments such as gig, platform workers, leading to unfair treatment and no social security. Platform workers are those workers which are actually working on a IT platform like Ola, like Uber, you're having Rapido, Swiggy. These are all called as platform worker, and the economy generated by them are called as what? Platform economy. Remember this point. Whereas gig workers are those workers just like me. Okay, I am professional because I am an educator, right? I have a particular skill to impart you what? Coaching. So gig economy. Gig economy is nothing but professional. It could be dancer, it could be musicians, it could be chartered accountants, it could be advocate, etc. So and so forth. They all comes under what? Gig workers. Even these gig workers, they also don't enjoy the social security benefits, because wherever I have been working in the various institutions, they just don't care about like any kind of insurance benefits to me, any kind of ESI benefits to me. They don't hardly care about, even I'm working with them for 5 years, they hardly give me any gratuity bonus also, right? So whether it is a gig worker, whether it is a platform economic worker, we have been treated very badly, and no social security scheme has been offered to me also even today. Absence of uniform social security to each and every one of us, that is very true. So workers do need new labor codes so that the employers falls into line and try to give us some kind of protection. That is very important for our social security. Why employers need them? Multiple labor laws hamper their business efficiency. Nothing but they are wasting much of the time in order to fulfill the compliances. That's the reason they also require a unified laws across the nation, so that they can file it as early as possible and concentrate on their business strategies. Heavy compliance burden is discouraging FDI inflows. Heavy compliance burden, nothing but you have to fill up a lot of forms, you have to take care of a lot of rules, lot of regulations. Okay, and that too state wise they have been completely different. So if the Apple wants to come, or if Sony wants to come, they are actually thinking 100 times, because every state is having different labor laws, and the process is very complex. So compliances are becoming very hard for them. Excessive regulatory and compliance requirements adversely impact businesses expansion and formalization of the work. That is the impact of all of this. Remember this point. Okay, right. Let us now go ahead with another important area. This is a very important table. If the labor force come into effect, how it is going, what it will going to change. So we'll see all this one by one. Okay, chalo. Okay, let us see one by one what will change. So the first one here is formalization of employment. Before these labor codes came into being, no mandatory appointment letters were given to the workers and the employees. That also happens with me also. Whereas post-labor reforms, it has been made mandatory that appointment letters should be given to all workers to ensure transparency, job security, and that is why we call it as formalization, a very good step by the government of India. Social security coverage. Limited social security coverage was offered before this labor codes came into being, whereas under the new codes, gig and platform workers will also get social security coverage. I really love this. I hope that I am going to get all of this. I'm very happy today. Minimum wages. Minimum wages only for scheduled industries. Large sections of workers are not covered before, whereas new codes on wages introduce concept of floor wage, provides worker with statutory right of minimum wage payment, means minimum 10,000 or minimum 15,000, whatever is fixed by the government under the new labor codes. This is now become what statutory means. You cannot infringe it. That is the right. That is the right of the workers to get the minimum wages, which is decided by the new labor codes. A very awesome, a very important for the weaker section of the society. Okay. Now, preventive healthcare was not at all covered. Preventive healthcare is nothing but suppose in future you may suffer from cancer, someone X may suffer from thyroid, etc. That is called as to avoid that kind of what if that kind of illnesses or health problems will be there. There is no coverage of it. No legal requirement for employers to provide free annual health checkup to the workers, whereas employers must provide all workers with a free annual health checkup. Very important, so that disease detection is very important at the early stage. Early disease detection will actually reduce lots of diseases in individual in future. Timely wages. No compliance for timely wages. कभी 10 तारीख को दे रहे हैं, कभी 15 तारीख को दे रहे हैं, कभी 12 तारीख को दे रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं चलेगा, right? Mandatory for the employers to provide basically every 7th of every month the money has to be go into the account of the IT sector, especially here. It is properly given that mandatory for the employers to provide timely wages, provides financial stability, cuts work stress, boosts overall morale of the workers. Okay, time pe paise de do. Everyone will be happy. Even you know that we will also be happy. Women workforce participation has been, female participation in the night shift was actually not there before. Now government of India wants to make sure that even on par with the men, the women also can able to generate what excess earnings by working in the night. For that purpose, the companies need to create some facilities in the night time, like especially like transportation and cab facilities. Okay, safety and security should be ensured by the employer, so that women also can work in nights and can able to generate some extra income. Compliance burden. Multiple registration licenses and returns were there in the previous labor reforms. Now single registration, pan India single license and single return will be given to all the employers. That will be very easy for them to carry out their businesses. So basically government of India is promoting ease of doing business in the form of what? Single registration, pan India single license and single return. Now let us see in each and every sector how these reforms are going to help. Okay. So you can see is for MSME workers. For MSME workers, minimum wage will be guaranteed. Canteen and rest facilities will be there. Double overtime wages. So if you're doing overtime, you will get what? 100 rupees if they are giving per hour. And the same 100, 1 hour after the overtime, if you're doing 1 hour overtime, you will get 200. So double. So for BD and cigar workers, 8 to 12 hours daily cap is given. Means more than that, they cannot take work from you. Concern based overtime. If you are willing to do extra work overtime, then only you will be given that facility. Otherwise not. Okay. Plantation worker ESI medical facilities will be given to them and to their parents. Safety training mandatory is very important, because occupational hazards and accidents are very common in our country. That's why plantation workers actually do a lot of manual work. That's the reason they need to have safety training mandatory. Education for the children will be given for the plantation workers. Audio visual digital media for them. Anybody who's having audio, visual, digital media kind of company, they have to give mandatory appointment letters. Social security benefits should be given to all the employees who are working, whether they are 3 or 5 in number. Double overtime pay. Even if they are doing 1 hour extra, then that 1 hour they will be paid double of what they generally pay for their working hours 1 hour. So this is all about the new labor codes, and very important labor codes are there. And if you're watching me, please make sure that you write these 2 model answers for the questions that I am giving you now. With the help of it, you can just put it on the on my WhatsApp. I will try to correct it and send you the remarks. Yes, this has been already asked in 2024 UPSC. Discuss the merits and demerits of 4 labor codes in the context of labor market reforms in India. What has been the progress so far in this regard? Success of Make in India program will actually depend upon the success of Skill India program and radical labor reforms. Labor reforms are very important. They have been 2 times asked, and this year, next year, you can be definitely expecting the question again on labor reforms. Make sure that you be prepared and write this and show it to me. Thanks for watching. Do join my economic and Telangana formation classes. You will be be better off when compared to your competitors. Let us work with together with a lot of motivation and a customized schedule. All this you will get. Just call me and to put a text so that we will have a demo session with the help of which I'll try to give you a proper roadmap and hold your hand till you crack the examination. Have a nice day. Take care. Good night.